Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Marvel vs. System unboxing. This is for Mystic Arts, Part 2 arc of the Darkness and Light series, so Volume 4, issue number 2. The first set focused on the Masters of Evil, brand new team of villains you get to fight. This arc focused on spellcasters throughout the Marvel Universe. Some good, some bad, some in between. It's actually fun to get a couple different teams. And then the third set focuses on vampires and the kind of seedy underworld. Again, you're gonna get good guys and bad guys. It's a fun, interesting set. The contrast between them. This is also going to introduce a brand new type, keyword and type of card called spells. So let's just take a quick look at one of those before I even get any farther into the rest of the set and the characters, so we know what we're talking about. So they're going to look like, they're going to be plot twists. They're going to be one of a kind. So this one's called Energy. So this is a blue spell. So blue spell says an additional cost to play a spell, a blue spellcaster on your side must pay blue. So if you want to play this spell, you have to have a spellcaster that has that blue symbol in it. And then they still have to pay for it. So there's some spellcasters that can use any spells or multiple spells. Some that can only do ones of a certain color. So it's kind of interesting. So that way they can make more later on if they'd like. So main, choose an enemy row and freeze each character there. Exhaust them, they can't ready. So that's one example. And there's 3 for each color. So it gives you 12 different spells in the base set. So you can only go to the main ones. But we'll look at those again when we actually get that far. But that way you know what a spell is when I'm talking about these spells or these spellcasters. They're special plot twists. So here we have the Avengers, Doctor Strange, Doctor turned Sorcerer. At the start of the game, choose blue, yellow, green, or red. Avengers level 1, Doctor Strange. On your characters on your side have a spellcaster of that type. So this Doctor Strange can pick which one he wants to be. So that's kind of cool. And then the Master of Mystic Arts, when Doctor Strange casts a spell, he gains 1 XP. So other than the requirements of like needing that specific spellcaster and having to pay that specific color, they work like other plot twists. And it says also if a spell is playable in combat, the spellcaster who casts it does not have to be in that combat. So if it requires combat, it can still only be used in combat as long as that character is out somewhere to play it. Alright. Then when he levels up to level 2, he becomes Sorcerer Supreme. He is a spellcaster for all 4 colors, so now he can use all 4. By the Ageless of Ashanti, pay 1 of the 4 colors, search your deck for a spell, reveal it with a flourish, and then add it to your hand. The Book of the Ashanti is equipped to Doctor Strange. He pays 1 less power symbol to use the power. So the Book of the Ashanti, which he can get, is available in the Shield versus Hydra set. So it is a special one of a kind equipment. I'm going to see if I can zoom up on this picture at all. One of a kind equipment, equipped only to a good character. It says, cancel the first plot twist an enemy plays each turn. So if you have the Shield set, he becomes even better, because he can play spells for free. He not become better, he becomes incredible. Alright, our next character kind of uses magic, not exactly, but he's still mystical in nature, I guess, is Iron Fist. He has Martial Artist, he has +2/+2 in melee combat. But he also gets us another Defender character, which is awesome. Iron Fist Punch. When Iron Fist strikes a character's combat, stun that character. And pass the test. When an enemy supporting character appears, Iron Fist may challenge it unless there's already a character he's challenging on any side. When Iron Fist sends a character he's challenging, he gains 1 XP. Then when he does level up, he has Master Martial Arts, which gets him +4/+4, and then Master of the Iron Fist Punch. When Iron Fist strikes character in combat, stun that character. If it's a supporting character, KO it instead. Our third main character is we're going to get a villain. We're going to get the Greg Dormammu, who has a blue spellcaster, so you can only cast blue spells. Ruler of the Dark Dimension. At the end of your turn, Dormammu gains 1 XP for each location on your side with a blue spell. Just kind of a yin and yang. He can keep casting them spells, which is great, but the more he does, the harder it's going to be able to level him up. So he kind of needs to bide and hold his time off if he wants to get more powerful. If he goes from only 6 defense, he goes up to 12. He has no health, because he's all about kind of casting spells. Or no attack, sorry. Sorceries over the Flame of the Faltine. Once per turn during your main phase, but not during combat, you may wound Dormammu. If you do, put a spell from your KO pile into your hand, so you can keep reusing them spells. Alright, now we're going to jump into our supporting characters. If lest I say otherwise, there's always 4 copies. So we have Dr. Druid and Avenger, who's a green spellcaster. All the terrible power of the druids. Dr. Druid has +2/+2 for each spell in your KO pile. Then we're going to get a very interesting character. So we have Forge from the X-Men. Usually known to work with machines, but he's also a spellcaster. He's a shaman. Also makes him very interesting, besides getting another X-Men character, is his text on the bottom is new number 20. So it gives him the set number from the New Mutant set, because the New Mutants had special keywords that only work with characters from that set that had the new status, or new set number. So he's able to work with Professor X and the other New Mutants. Such a really neat way to do that. He's a red spellcaster. He also has Stroke of Genius. At the start of your turn, draw a card or Forge creates an invention. So inventions are things that were introduced in the Fantastic Four set, which lets you play special, different cards. Not just, they can be plot twists, equipment, locations, supporting characters. Just depends on what they are. But that's really fun. So you have this new set of spellcasters. So he gets to use spells, he gets to use inventions from Fantastic Four set, and he interacts with the New Mutant set. So it's 3 different things. You have to have 2 different other sets for him to be super effective. But that's really cool. When they do little things like that. Next we have the Ancient One, who has no team affiliation. He's a yellow spellcaster, martial artist. The Ancient One has +2/+2 in melee combat. We're going to get the Enchantress, who's part of the Masters of Evil, whose team was from the previous box set, so she's a brand new team affiliation, which is great. Add some extra support for that. So she gets Spellcaster Blue and Asgardian Power Player. When a Enchantress appears, you may choose one, stunning enemy character named Heimdall, Hela, Loki, Odin, Sif, Thor, or Valkyrie, and put 3 +1/1 counters on a character on your side with one of those names. So it can be good or evil. It's kind of the whole point of this set. Then we have Magik from the X-Men as well. Now, she does not gain the New Mutants keyword. This is supposed to be, set number is supposed to be from a different version of her. But Spellcaster Green, Mystical Armor. When a character on your side casts a spell, put 3 +1/+1 counters on Magik. Another X-Men related character, but it's a villain. We have Mojo, who has yellow spells, and Mojo News Network. Mojo has +1/+1 for each other face-up character. And then we're going to get Loki. Gets another supporting villain character for him. Cast blue spells, and the Lord of Liars. Loki pays 1 less power symbol to cast spells. And then we have Merlin, who has no team affiliation. Casts red spells. And Crater of the Ebony Blade, which is used by the Black Knight. Merlin strikes, you may turn a number of enemy basic locations equal to his attack face down. For each one you turn face down, you may turn a face down basic location on your side with the same type face up. So that's really a fun ability. Like 17 defense. And then our final supporting character is Agamotto himself. So he has 10 costs. He's an Avenger, part of the 10,000 BC Avenger. So I'm hoping they eventually release the rest of them. That'd be cool. Like the original, like Phoenix, Starbrand, Black Panther. That'd be kind of a neat idea. Ghost Rider. So he has Sorcerer Supreme of the Universe, is a spellcaster of every type. Which is interesting that they listed it that way and not just of the 4 colors. So it makes you wonder if in the future they might add other different spellcasting types. Like maybe you have one that's more like space or alien, or like Earth. So it's kind of interesting. Magical Artificer. When Agamotto appears, you may search your deck and in hand for Book of Ashanti or the Eye of Agamotto, then play it for free onto Agamotto or Doctor Strange on your side. All-seeing. Each enemy character can't gain powers, lose powers other than its printed powers, and attack, defense, and health can't be higher than its printed attack. So it basically stops them from becoming more powerful. Alright, so then let's look at the last bunch of stuff. So we're going to get the Eye of Agamotto, which we've read about. One-of-a-kind equipment. You may only have one of these in your deck. Benevolent, equip only to a good character. And the Eye of Truth. Enemy players play with their hands revealed. So that's kind of cool if you like that. I've never really been one that really personally cares about having hands revealed. But I can see where it could be helpful, especially if you have things that let you discard. Or you're going to attack someone's hands, you know whether it's worth it. Then we're going to look at all of our spells. These are the only plot twists we get in the game. So we've already seen Energy. We have Weakness. So I'm just going to skip to the bottom abilities. Put 5 -1/-1 counters on an enemy character in combat. And our other blue one is Control. Enemy characters can't strike this turn. Our yellow spells are going to be Intellect, Build, draw 3 cards, Knowledge, Main or Combat, search your deck for a card and put it in your hand, and Alter, Main or Combat, choose an enemy player to discard 2 random cards. And we will get our green ones. Main or Combat, we have Might. Heal a wound from a character on your side. Growth. Put 5 +1/+1 counters on a character on your side. Or Power. Main characters on your side strike with double their attack this turn. Our red ones are Skill. Choose a face-up character on your side to strike with triple its attack against an enemy character. Focus. Enemy characters lose and can't gain powers this turn. And finally, we have Expertise. Daze any number of enemy characters. So those were all of those. So let's just see if there's any of these we need to look at. Just mentioned about the Inventors. So there are some coming up in other sets, as well as some that are in the Fantastic Four set. I think that was about it. And then there is our deck list they put up in the top corner. So also neat though, here's all these different plot twists that are your spells. They're all single words, very generic words. So I'm hoping this also means that in the future we're going to maybe get more specific spells. Like maybe Doctor Strange to get some of the ones he cast, like the Crimson Bands of Sidorak, or stuff like that. Like get various other just spells like maybe an X-Men themed one for like Soul Sword teleportation. Definitely could be some cool things there. We could get more like class specific ones, or very unique ones, like they cast a specific spell to do something, like some magical enchantment that somebody did in a comic or something like that. Maybe like the access spell, change good and evil affiliations. Like it'd be very limited, but there would be uses for it. But that could definitely be an interesting thing where you could have more of these. Plus, these are only one of a kind, so there's a lot of other different words you could also use. Alright, the only thing that's kind of interesting or odd about this spell, just the last thing I'll say about this set, is that they start in the deck as a regular card, as opposed to being its own deck. Like Inventions are their own deck. There's a lot of other cards that start in their own deck. I think it would have been kind of neat if you just had like a spell deck off to the side, and then when you cast a spell, you could search your deck for that card, or you had to, or if it worked similar to Marvel Champions Doctor Strange, where he has a special deck off to the side, and your card face up is the one you use, and then you can either play that one or discard it to find a different one. But you gotta spend resources to look for the correct spell, and then if it's sitting there, use it or find something else. That would have been a neat way to do this as well. Have all these maybe sitting in a deck, and then like your top card face up, that's a spell you can use. You have it prepped, and then maybe you have to like spend something or spend your recruit point or something, like switch it to a different one. Yeah, it would have been kind of interesting as well. But that's alright. That's still a neat thing. I just feel like you have one of a kind, and you have most of the characters can only use one spell, but if you have too many different cards with too many different types, you're eating half your deck away with just spell cards, which have a higher cost than just recruit points. Alright, that's what we got for Mystic Arch. Check out the other stuff in the set and the other videos. See you guys later. Bye. Alright, up next we have boss battles. So, these are special, larger than life, extra powerful characters that you get a fight against. So let's read about that one here. So this is for up to 3 players. This is introduced in the Monsters Unleashed set with the 2v1 Leviathan Invasion, where one person played as the Leviathan deck, fought 2 other players, but they got some extra special rules for it. So they expanded this to play with up to 5 different bosses, so you get some more options to play. The player will play as a boss, and they choose one of the 5 bosses of their main character. They can play any main character with that name from either the photographic or illustrated universe. They take the associated boss battle card as a reference and build their deck as normal. The other 2 players may choose any main character, except they can't choose the boss's main character, and they build their decks as normal. So you're basically just playing 2v1, but you get this card, the special effect, but the one player has to choose a card that matches one of these 5 boss characters. Boss battles use free-for-all game rules. The boss goes first, then proceeds clockwise. No player skipping draws cards during the first effect. When a basic location appears on the boss side, they get related effects from its power symbols and instructed on their boss card. So when they play certain locations, they gain bonuses. When a special location named on a boss battle card appears, they gain that related effect. The boss player only wins by KOing the other 2 players, and the other 2 only win by KOing the boss. So you can also mix this with the terrain. They don't recommend mixing with the domains, I think just because there's such big effects. It says for a truly gargantuan with like 2 players can each choose a boss and throw down boss versus boss. And if you do that, you can also mix in Battle World and Story Mode. I think just because giving a potential benefit or disadvantage of the domains to 2 players versus 1, it might offset the game too much. But if you're playing one-on-one, it's not so bad. Alright, so first up, you can play Death, who's in the Black Order box set. When a location appears on your side, I'm going to just bring these up a little bit easier to see here. So blue, when I meet so many people, each player puts the top 3 cards of their deck into their KO pile. I shall bring you peace. KO supporting character on each enemy's side. Trapped with death, put a +1/+1 counter on death for each character in your KO pile. Oh crap, that would suck. At the beginning of the game, until your next build phase, draw an additional card from the Mistress of Infinity Well. Double the counters from Cosmic Bounce, and both powers are turned off on enemy turns. So she only gains the 4, she doesn't get a special location because she doesn't have a team ability that it's tied to. But yeah, that's pretty devastating. Up next, we have good old Fang Fang Foom from the Monsters Unleashed set. So when you get an Earth symbol, I have Awakened. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on Fang Fang Foom. If he is hibernating, hibernation ends and put an additional 5 counters on him. Greater Acid Mist. Put 2 -1/-1 counters on each enemy character. Time for you all to spill blood. Draw a card and draw another card for each enemy character with a -1/-1 counter. No place in the universe will give you safety. Fang Fang Boom has +5/+5 and solitary and massive this turn. He can't team attack and attack rows instead of characters. Yeah, so he just attacks straight up an entire row. And then if you play the special location Mew, choose one of the effects from above, or once per game, heal all wounds from Fang Fang Boom and transform him into the Monsters Unleashed Fang Fang Boom supporting character. He becomes a main character. So that's crazy. What he does. Then we have the Leviathan Mother, which was the original inspiration for this. So this is essentially the same abilities as she would have had, except I think they just updated them a little bit. So I have to double check to see if they're the exact same, but I think they just more than less put them on here and then made them, fixed them so they're a little bit more even. So defend your mother. Reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a one-of-a-kind Leviathan character. Put it onto your side. Shuffle the rest of the cards into your deck. The time of nesting is here. Draw a card, then draw another card for each one-of-a-kind character on your side, which if you're not familiar with the Leviathan deck, all the supporting Leviathan characters are one-of-a-kind. So there's, I think, 20 different one-of-a-kind characters. Face me and die. Put 4 +1/+1 counters on Leviathan Mother, and 2 +1/+ on each one-of-a-kind character on your side. This planet angers me. Stand a supporting character on each enemy's side. And if you play their special Desecrated Nest location, put one of the effects above, or put each Leviathan Servitor from your KO pile onto your side. And I think that's the only card that's a non-one-of-a-kind of Servitors. I think there's a bunch of those. We can also fight good old Thanos, the Mad Titan. Says, I hold the galaxy in my palm. Gaze up to 3 enemy characters. I am Thanos. Draw a card. Then draw cards equal to Thanos' level. I had to be faithful to my nature. Thanos strikes a supporting character on each enemy side, then doubles his attack. KO each character wounded this way. Behind each door waits further treasures. Search your deck for a card and put it into your hand. So if you play the Vault or Sokovia, choose one of the effects above. If you play Titan, choose a supporting character on your side to gain Eternal. If it would leave play, you may put it into its owner's hand instead. That is fun. So I know Titan comes in the Black Order set as well. You can also get Thanos as a main character in there. The Vault and Sokovia, I don't remember off the top of my head which sets they come from. I want to say the Vault is from the Villain set from the base game, and I think Sokovia, I want to say it's from Avengers vs. S.H.I.E.L.D., but I might be wrong on that. Or it might be something that hasn't appeared yet, which is also a very good possibility. And then finally we have Ultron. Age of Ultron. The first time an Ultron on your side uses superpower this turn, it pays 1 less power symbol. I will be unstoppable. Put the top card of your deck face down into your resource row. If it is a location, you may place it face up instead. This could trigger one of these abilities again. We are Ultron. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on each Ultron on your side. Remember, he has Swarm characters, so he can have a bunch of them. And Innovation is the ultimate weapon. Reveal the top 6 cards of your deck. For each revealed Ultron on your side, shuffle the rest of the cards, or put each revealed Ultron onto your side, and shuffle the rest into your deck. So, Vulk or Sokovia. Choose between the effects of the above, or have the game enter the Perfection Domain Battle World. That's also fun, so you can have do that as well. Alright, then our final new mode is we're going to get 5 different story modes. So this is, again, just something else that's going to add a new thing to play in the game. So this is also meant for 2 players. In story mode, players will play through a series of 3 games called parts, each with the same decks, gaining advantages for all the games they win. Part 3 is a winner take all. So choose a story mode card randomly or by consulting a story complexity list below. Then choose a player to be A. So one player is A, one's B. So I'm just going to skip over that complexity. So it's just, try the first one first. But rules. Player A always goes first in part 1. Then the winner of each part goes first in the next parts. After each part is over, simply follow the directions on the mode. Whoever wins. Option. Play a series of multiple stories in storyline. Play them in a random order or choose an order that tells you the best part for you. The winner of part 3 of each story becomes player A for the next story. So play a series of multiple stories in a storyline. So I think the idea is you could keep playing a bunch of different directions, trying to make like an order thing. So this can mix with Battle World, it can mix with Terrain. And then there's some there's some information for all these, but we're gonna look over these. So, assassination plot: sneak into the enemy's headquarters and kill their leader. Player A's main character is trying to kill Player B main character. That's your goal. Create the plan. If Player A wins, you're able to scope out the layout of the enemy HQ. For part 2, you start with 2 extra cards. If Player B wins, you detect someone lurking enemies and raise the alert level. Security names supporting character on your deck to be a bodyguard for the rest of the game. So then, how bodyguard works for that particular one. So we have when character attacks Player B's main character, may remove that character from combat and replace it with this character if they do switch your positions. The first time the bodyguard uses its powers, Player B must announce that it and all copies they own has bodyguard while on the player's side. So what that means is, like, let's say, just for simplicity's sake, let's say I have one player's Captain America, one's Iron Man. And so the Captain America player, this is using the Civil War, I say use Punisher as my bodyguard. So I can do is if someone's attacking me, I can remove my main character from combat. I can put remove Captain America from combat. I can put Punisher in its place instead, but I have to then basically say, this is my bodyguard. I can't change it later. Just kind of an interesting thing. Get into position. Player A wins. This is the second battle you play. Your plan of attack is from all angles. Secret name a supporting character to be a deadly assassin, and a supporting character in Player B's deck to be an infiltrator. And then Player B wins. You've repelled an attempt on your closest advisors, but the danger persists. Player A secretly names a supporting character in the deck to be a deadly assassin for part 3. So either one, Player A gets a deadly assassin, but if Player 1 wins, you also get an infiltrator. So what those two do is, while on Player A's side, if this character wounds a defending main character, KO that character. So they get one character that you definitely have to watch out for. The infiltrator says once per turn during Player A's main phase, but not during combat, you may have this character make a melee attack from Player B's side against the main character in its row. Yeah, so that's kind of neat. So you can have them like pick somebody that they can like secretly attack from behind. And then player A is execute the plan. If player A wins, you have eliminated a true friend, and player B, you have defended your leader. So that's interesting there. All right. Story number 2 is going to be the death of a loved one. And I'm not going to sit here and read through all of these now. I read through kind of how the first one was. I'll hold these up for a sec. If you want to, you can do it. But death of a loved one, if someone's been caught in a crossfire, player A's main character is a killer. But yeah, you can see how these story modes could add some definitely interesting little aspects to playing multiple games in a row with the same decks. Especially because these games generally don't take forever. So it gives you a reason to just like, ooh, I built this deck, let me play a couple times in a row, rather than maybe switching out decks constantly. Plus, then you can also add the domains and that other stuff, and you could mix and match. You could sport 2-player. You could do a team battle, I suppose, 2 versus 2 if you want. So here's the next one, Epic Quest. Search the universe for the keys to your happiness. Player A's main character is on a quest for something. Yeah, you could definitely play this in a 2v2 if you wanted to, like Team A versus Team B. You just have to specify, like, kind of like, okay, the team 1 is player A, team player is player B, but like specifies, like, picking a certain thing. You have to just decide who you need to do or which character needs to get assassinated, type of thing. We also have Galactic Game. Take part against your will in an epic game on artificial world. Set up, create the Patchwork Planet. So the Patchwork Planet is your domain. So you have to use the domain for this specific one. But yeah, it gets you adds a little extra flair to just playing the domain. And then finally we have Time Traveler. Travel to the past to change the present. Yeah, so 5 different little story modes, extra little things to do. They also carry over effects, so it gives you a little bit of a benefit for winning versus just, hey, I won a game. Now you have something different to do. Be very interesting. I don't know how well it would work, but it'd be kind of interesting to like play part 1 of one thing, then play part 2 of a second, and then see how part 3 goes. But yeah, that's definitely cool. They're gonna add more of these as they go along. I don't know if they're going to be like I said, the terrain. They're adding more of that, the forest, and the other crossover set. Rather than taking up 10 cards in a regular deck for it, which kind of makes sense. Not to say they won't do that later if it really fits the theming. I'm thinking like maybe like a space one or something. But they are going to add some more. I know like one of the later Spider-Man sets adds like Carnage and a different domain, a different story to deal with the Carnage story. So that's kind of cool for a boss battle. And then with the other crossover pack will also be adding at least one more domain for like, kind of works with like Sentinels in the future. So that's kind of a fun thing as well. Yes, this is definitely, if you're looking to, rather than just increasing your teams, but you're looking to increase your overall gameplay, this is definitely a way to go. Terrains are just something fun you can add into anything, give you extra little bonuses or negative effects to your opponent. The domains can add some overall global effects that can really shift up the game. But because they keep rotating out, that makes it a little bit, also gives you an incentive to try and maybe force to attack your opponent's main character just to get rid of an effect. Like maybe you're like, I can deal with them in a little bit, let me clean up some other stuff. But maybe you're like, nope, I need to get rid of this because that's really hindering me. Or vice versa, you might choose to not attack them because it's hindering your opponent more. And then the stories just add some extra fun little things to do, little goals to also do during the game. Like that, like I said, I only read through the first one out loud, so but like that one was like you had to purposefully assassinate, or pick a character to be a bodyguard. So you want to pick someone that you know you have 4 copies of in your deck, or that you know is strong enough to actually protect you. Or the deadly assassin. You want to pick someone that can actually KO the leader. Like, you don't want to pick a 0 attack powered person to be your deadly assassin, unless you have some secret way of boosting them up. But yeah, that's definitely some extra cool add-ons versus just more character cards. Not that I don't mind those either. So there you go. See you guys later. Bye. Angry Beast has a health of 4. It says placement. Either enemy, row, all characters. So wolf it down. At the end of your turn, place 3 -1/-1 counters on the face-up character with the lowest defense in this row. So until they take care of it, it's going to keep hurting them. We have the Bog. Either enemy row. A sinking feeling at the end of your turn, putting -1/-1 counter on each character in this row. Boulder. Placement either of your rows, 1 character. The character here has Rock and Roll, main, green or red. This character makes an attack 5 strike against an unprotected enemy. Then wound this terrain and put it in that character's row. So you're throwing this over, and each time it's going to get weaker. Concealed Cave. Just secret. Place this terrain face down. Turn it face up the first time you put it with a character. Placement either of your rows, 2 characters. A deep dark lair. When you put 1 or more face up characters here, hide them and turn them face down but ready. The Deserted Cabin. It's a secret, and placement either of your rows. At the end, leftovers. At the end of your turn, if there is a ready character here, draw a card. A Sturdy Tree. Placement either of your rows. Old growth. This character here can't be attacked. The Forgotten Artifacts. Place either of your rows. Ancient Power. The first time a character here needs to pay for 1 or more power symbols each turn, they pay 1 less. Hidden Path. Secret, and placement your front row. Sneak Attack. When you or 1 or more characters here, you put 1 or more characters here, they have stealth this turn. They can make melee attacks against protected characters. Secluded Waterfall. Secret, placement, 1 either of your rows. Magical properties. At the end of your turn, if there's a ready character here, heal a wound from it, then wound this terrain. And then finally we have Thicket. Placement either enemy row, all characters. Briar Patch. That character can't have more than 1 character in this row. So that's kind of fun. Different ones we could keep coming up with. Alright, so then the next card we have is we have a new story mode. So story modes are basically set up so you can play them against 2 players. Play through a series of 3 games called parts, each with the same deck, gaining advantage for each game they win. But part 3 is a winner take all. So choose a story mode card either randomly or by consulting the story complexity list below. So there's all the different ones. And there was an extra story and boss battle to look at in one of the Spider-Man sets, which adds some carnage. Player 1 always goes first, and then the winner of each part goes first in the next part. Otherwise, follow the directions. It can also be used with Battle World, Terrain, and bosses. So here we have Altered Reality. Something is warping the fabric of reality. So choose 1 copy of the Scarlet Witch supporting character with Altered Reality. Set aside a random chaos pile. This story, copy of Scarlet Witch can't be in your deck. Each player places a random terrain from her chaos pile. Change is good. Player A wins. What now? Reveal 2 random terrain from the chaos pile. You choose 1 to place, and your opponent places the other. Here we go, same as above. So whoever wins. It's getting worse. Why is she doing this? Same as part 1. And in part 3, after you mulligan, add Scarlet Witch supporting character to your starting hand. Is she really behind this? Same as above. And then part 3 is snap back to reality. I need a map, and I need a nap, and there's so much more I could do. Yeah, so basically she's gonna throw out extra battle terrains, and you have to deal with multiples. So it's just a little twist on how to play. Then finally we have boss battles. In boss battles, up to for a number of 3 players. 3 new bosses. One player will play as a boss. They choose one of the 3 bosses in this issue, or one of the 6 in the previous issue, as their main character. They can play as any main character with that name from either the photographic or illustrated universe. They can take the associated boss battle card as a reference to build your deck as normal. And then the other 2 players choose any main character as normal, except they can't choose the boss's main character, and they build their decks normal. So basically, you're just going to build it like normal. The twist is, playing as the boss player goes first. No player skipping draws cards during the first round. When a location appears on the boss's side, they get a related effect from its power symbol as instructed on the boss card. The boss player's character can spread out their attacks against multiple enemies' sides if they want. It's a 1 versus 2 battle. And boss players only wins by killing the other 2 players' main characters. When the last main character on the side is killed, all cards on the player's side in their deck and discard pile are immediately removed from the game. It doesn't count those cards getting KO'd. In playing as the other 2 players, these players play as a team. During combat, each player, including the player who doesn't have an attacker or defender in combat, can play plot twists. They only win by KOing the boss. Additional game modes that can be used are boss battle and terrain. For a truly gargantuan fight, 2 players can each choose a boss and throw down a boss versus boss. All other rules remain the same, except you'll need to randomize the first player who will skip drawing. So, cool. Alright, so we have Kingpin. So when we play with Kingpin, we're going to zoom up a bit here. Let me see if I can get a little better zoom on this. Alright, so when a blue location appears, it says, "You have betrayed my trust. Put a -1/-1 counter on each character." Yellow, chairman of the board, draw a card. Green, brute force. Put a +1/+1 counter on each character on your side. Red, I am the Kingpin. For each enemy player, discard a random card. If you play Fisk's Tower, choose one of the special effects above, or once per game, if a level 3 Kingpin is on your side, he gains for the rest of the game, take over the multiverse. Pay 4 colors, wound an enemy character. Kingpin can use this power any number of times on your turn. It's kind of cool. So you get bonuses for playing specific ones. Then we have Loki. Says, blue one says, "I am God. Stun the enemy character." Yellow, would I lie to you? Choose a card in your hand and then say its name. You may choose to lie. You may lie. Choose an opponent to guess whether you lied or told the truth. Then reveal the card. If they were wrong, you draw 4 cards. Green, you can't kill the stories. Loki's on your side, can't be wounded until your next turn. Red, everything is part of my plan. Loki gains 1 XP or puts 2 +1/+1 counters on each Loki on your side. Or Loki's on your side have stealth this turn. If you play the Vault or Sokovia, choose one of the effects above once per game. For the rest of the game, Loki's supporting characters that you own become main characters with Swarm while on your side. And Sokovia, I believe, is the Vault. I believe is from the base game with villains, kind of tied to those. And Sokovia, I believe, is in the photogenic one. Then finally, we have Magneto. So blue one, the mightiest of all mutants. Choose a character on your side. To your next turn, it gets +4 defense and an additional +4 defense while it's equipped. Yellow, test my metal. Draw a card, and then another for each equipped character on your side. Green, almost superior. Choose characters on your side are lethal this turn. Heal a wound from each equipped character on your side. And then heavy metal with a red. KOing enemy equipment. Search your hand, deck, and or KO file for equipment and reveal it. Then play it for free or put it into your hand. And then if it plays Asteroid M or the Vault, choose 2 different effects above. Alright, so that is what we got. Alright, so that was Marvel's Versus System crossover set number 4. Yeah, add some fun stuff. We get 2 new characters. We get, another Sentinel, another X-Men. We get a couple more spellcasters and a few more spells. Get some more of the terrains and battle worlds. Again, I love these crossover sets because they're just, they're basically like, hey, you like playing as these things? Here's some extra fun stuff you can get for them. Now that being said, I really hope that the next crossover does not have a bunch more terrains and bosses and all that, because I really hope that they don't. I like more add-ons to all the other characters and sets, as opposed to just having more crossovers of, like, I love them. I love the battle world, the crossovers, all that, or all the, like, terrain, all that. And I'd rather just see it, like, added into, like, maybe another set, where it might make sense, if the terrain might make sense if they do something different. Or, like, maybe they do, like, another Guardian set or something like that. You do, like, the space terrain, add it into that. Or add like a story mode, kind of like story mode to boss mode, like they did with the Carnage one. They threw it in a Spider-Man set. Works, because it's like, oh, I'm playing the Spider-Man set that has Carnage stuff in it. Cool, now I can fight Carnage in that set. And kind of do that rather than adding too many more just into these. I think this is, again, just a little bit more of the catch-up for the bosses. But we'll see what happens. I believe the next bunch of sets that come out are supposed to be based off the Disney Plus series. So we'll see how those all work out. See you guys in another video. Bye.